Hi guys, welcome to my channel again. Today I'm showing how I did a dishwasher sign with clean or dirty. It has a slider on it and it shows whether they are clean or dirty, because in our house that's a question that gets asked all the time. Is the dishwasher clean or dirty? Probably because they don't open the door to have a look whether the dishes are clean or dirty. So I thought this would be a really good item to have. It's got concealed magnets. I did get this design from another design on Makerlab, and I adapted it to suit my own needs because I wanted to just show how I do magnets that are concealed. So in Tinkercad, I actually took their design and I adapted it. So I will put up the original maker's design if you want to use that. Their magnets were not concealed. They were obviously glued in. So they are visible, but I didn't want mine to be visible. I wanted to show how you make a pause in your printing so that when you have the little casing where your magnet goes in, that the machine pauses and you can put the magnets in and then you press resume and it carries on printing. So that is what I'm going to be showing today. So the design shows how I have concealed the magnets by placing a pause in the design. So you can see there I've placed a pause so that when I've placed the magnets in their little slot, it pauses it, then you press resume and it carries on printing its next layer on top of the magnets. So you don't see the magnets when you have finished printing the design. So I am going to print it out and then I will show when the pause is, and then I will show how I place the magnets into their little groove so that the printer can continue printing once I've pressed resume. So the printer is just getting ready, and here you can see again it just shows that the magnets are concealed. You can't see them once the job has been done. I made the little grooves. I'll show a bit later in the video in Tinkercad how I did it. But the magnets are 3 millimeters in depth. So I made sure that the hole was 3 millimeters so that when I put the magnets in, they lie flush with the last layer. And then you get a nice clean resuming of the printing. You don't have a gap between the magnet and the actual next layer. Also, you can't make it too shallow, because if you have it too shallow, your magnet will stick up and it's going to affect the actual nozzle. So the nozzle will end up hitting on the magnet. So you have to get it exactly the right height so that when it resumes, it literally carries on printing as if there was nothing, there was no gap or anything there. So you can see here that we're on 26% and we're on layer 17. So we're about to get to where the magnets have to be inserted. It does make a noise. The actual machine will make a noise, and you'll see on the screen if you're in another room that it says error, but it's not an error. It's basically just telling you that it's stopping. And there I put the magnets in, and then you'll see from the front camera that I inserted the magnets into the grooves, and you can see that they flush, perfectly flush with the rest of the print, so it's not going to hit on the nozzle, and it's also not going to be below so that the actual filament falls into a gap. It's perfectly in line with the rest of the print at the moment. So it's ready now to resume. So all I have to do is press resume and it carries on printing. And you can see here, if you look close enough, that the nozzle is actually filling up on top of the magnet, and that's how it gets concealed. So it's actually a really nice feature in the Bambu Lab Studio, because you can literally put pauses at any stage if you want to add something, or if you want to, it's basically just so that you can add items to your print if you want to. And it's a really easy way of doing it as well. So I just found that I thought I would do this, because some people wonder how you get the machine to actually stop when you want to insert magnets or whatever else they're wanting to insert. So this is an easy way. Right, so here we are on the last layer. It seems to have printed out really nicely. So there again, just showing where the pause is. What you do is you literally right click on your slider and you press place a pause, and that is how you add your pause to your print. So you will just slide up a few layers and until you see the next layer covering your gap, and you right click, place a pause, and that is basically how you do it. So here again, like I said, we're just getting to the end of the print. It does have supports on. It's a small support, just where there was a slight overhang, because the actual design is rounded, so it just had slight supports on the bottom of it, which will have to be taken off once the print is off. There is the original design that I said I used and I modified. So if anybody wants to use their design, there they are in the Maker world, and you can see they don't have concealed, and they used the AMS. I don't have an AMS, I just used single color, and I'm going to paint them. So here is my Tinkercad design. I brought their STL into Tinkercad and I just adapted it. You can see their design had the smaller magnets. I used bigger magnets because obviously mine are concealed, so they have to be bigger and stronger so that the design doesn't slide down off your dishwasher. And I used the hole in between so that is where your magnet slots into. That is where I would have put the pause above the bottom orange section, and so when I put it into the machine, that is where I put the pause. So like I said, I did adapt their design and I made it so that I could put in the concealed magnets. So Tinkercad is where I do quite a lot of my designs as well, and I can modify designs in there as well. So that's also a very handy program to be able to use, and it is free. So like I said, I do use Tinkercad quite a lot. So here I'm just taking off the supports like I said, there wasn't a lot of supports. It was just on where the rounded edges were, and I just used my craft knife just to neaten up the edges, just so that it's nice and smooth, so when it's on the actual dishwasher it's not going to be uneven. You can see the magnets that are concealed there, and here I'm just painting. Like I said, I don't have the AMS, which is your multi-color that goes with the Bambu Lab, the A1. I just paint these with a normal craft paint, and then I seal them with some UV resin. I gave them 2 coats so that they were nice and shiny, and also it lasts nice and long, even with giving it a wash if it needs a wash. The UV resin does make a big difference if you're sealing the wording with that. So there we go. It's all ready to have its slider put on. You can see the magnet actually stuck to my craft knife. So now the slider slides on the one side and then it clips into the slots on the other side, and there we go. Dirty and clean. Like I said, I definitely need this in my house. So there we are on the dishwasher. Easy to slide over, clean, and then dirty. And so hopefully now I won't have any questions whether the dishwasher is clean or dirty. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you could please like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. So until next time, have a great one.